Welcome to the chosen path. Think about this for a moment. The higher someone builds themselves up on false power, the harder the fall when the truth finally comes out. History is full of examples of this. Kings, rulers, leaders, and schemers, people who thought they were untouchable, eventually had their masks ripped off for the world to see. Their reputations, their carefully crafted images, their empires, all of it shattered in a single moment when divine justice struck. And the most shocking part, it always comes at the moment they least expect it. Picture a light so bright that it leaves no shadow untouched. Every hidden motive, every secret plan, every mask that someone wears to hide their real intentions, exposed for the whole world to witness. That's what happens when God steps in. Those who set traps for others, who plot and scheme in secret, always seem to end up falling into their own traps. It's like planning a surprise party for someone else and then accidentally walking straight into it yourself. And here's the twist you need to hear today. When God orchestrates a moment of justice, it's not random. It's deliberate, precise, and public. It's the kind of justice so perfect that even karma itself seems to stand back and take notes. What you're about to hear isn't just another story about revenge, it's a reminder that divine payback is real. And when it comes, it's unstoppable. Number 1. The silent strike of divine timing. God's timing is like a perfectly tuned clock. You can't hear it, but it's ticking. It's quiet, deliberate, and absolutely flawless. While your enemies are busy plotting and celebrating their supposed victories, they mistake that silence for inaction. They think nothing's happening, that their schemes have gone unnoticed, or even worse, that they're approved. But the quiet isn't neglect. It's God preparing the stage for a far bigger reveal than they could ever imagine. While they walk around convinced they're untouchable, their pride blinds them to the truth. Every action they take, every whisper they speak, every move they make, it's all being recorded, down to the smallest detail. Divine timing isn't late, it's precise. God allows them to keep building, to keep digging, and to keep walking deeper into the trap they've created for themselves. They reach a point where they're most confident, most comfortable, and most sure they've won. And then, suddenly, the shift happens. No warning, no slow unraveling, just a swift and undeniable strike that exposes everything for what it really is. In that moment, there's no escape. No time to spin a story, no chance to pretend innocence. The silence that once felt like safety turns into a crushing weight of accountability. And the irony, while they were celebrating their victories, the trap was tightening. Divine timing doesn't just reveal the truth, it delivers justice in a way that leaves no doubt about who's in control. Number 2, their darkness will be their undoing. The darkness inside your enemies isn't just a hidden flaw, it's the seed of their downfall. Every scheme, every lie, every manipulation they think will stay hidden in the shadows, God turns all of it into the very thing that exposes them. It's as though their own actions become the evidence that condemns them. Every selfish act, every betrayal, every attempt to undermine you becomes fuel for their collapse. God doesn't just bring justice from the outside, He uses the weight of their own choices to pull down the empire they built. The darkness they thought would protect them becomes the fire that burns it all down. And when that moment comes, it won't just be a small setback, it will be a complete unraveling, a fall so undeniable that everyone watching will understand exactly what happened. They move like shadows, slipping through the cracks, whispering in corners, convinced they can shape outcomes without anyone noticing. They think their secrecy is a shield, that their hidden agendas are invisible. But what they don't see is this: every scheme, every lie, every manipulative act they add to their pile of envy and resentment is a brick in the wall of their own downfall. God doesn't have to invent a punishment for them. Their own actions are already planting the seeds. All that hidden darkness they've tried to bury. It's going to come to the surface, and when it does, it won't be soft or quiet. It'll be blinding, undeniable, and impossible to run from. When that moment arrives, it's not just a private unveiling. It's a public reckoning. The very people they deceived, the friends, the colleagues, the admirers, will see who they truly are. The charm, the smooth talk, the carefully worn mask, all of it drops away. And when the mask hits the floor, there's no putting it back on. Suddenly they're not controlling the narrative anymore. What they tried to hide becomes the headline of their story. The power they clung to, the image they worshipped, starts crumbling like sand slipping through their fingers. They're left scrambling, trying to justify what's now undeniable. But here's the truth, it's not random. It's precise. It's God's justice using their own actions as the evidence against them. They built the trap. They set the stage. They walked right into it. And now everyone sees the truth. Number 3, their power will collapse in public view. Real humiliation doesn't happen behind closed doors. It happens where everyone can see it. When God acts, He doesn't whisper the truth in hidden corners. He projects it in the open, like a spotlight no one can turn off. Those who harmed you, discredited you, or tried to control you built their lives on a façade. They spent years curating their image, sculpting reputations meant to impress, manipulate, or intimidate. But when God steps in, that carefully crafted image doesn't just crack, it shatters. The shield of reputation they've relied on becomes a window through which everyone can finally see. Imagine this: the same people they manipulated, the same crowd they wanted to impress, now witnessing their downfall up close. Their power, which once seemed untouchable, is suddenly fragile, like glass breaking under pressure. There's no longer a safety net of public opinion, no mask to hide behind, and no story to spin. In one moment, everything they've built on deception turns into rubble. And here's the deeper message. This isn't just about you being vindicated. It's about the truth stepping into the light so powerfully that no lie, no illusion, and no man-made mask can stand. God's justice isn't subtle. It's a statement, loud enough for the world to hear, that nothing built on falsehood lasts forever. What they valued most, their reputation, their control, their influence, becomes the very thing that crumbles in front of everyone. Number 4, your stillness was the trap. Your stillness wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. The patience you showed wasn't you giving up. It was you stepping aside so the truth could reveal itself. While your enemies mistook your silence for surrender, you were giving them room to show their true intentions. They thought they were winning because you weren't fighting back. They thought your calm meant you were vulnerable. But all the while, you were letting them dig their own pit. Your stillness was a strategy, not a retreat. It gave you strength, clarity, and space while they kept tightening the noose around themselves. They believed you were an easy target, but in reality, your patience allowed every hidden plan, every secret motive, and every false smile to unravel on its own. By staying quiet, you weren't being weak. You were setting the stage for the truth to speak louder than you ever could. The more they pushed, the bolder they became, blind to the truth unfolding around them. They mistook your patience for permission and your stillness for weakness. What they didn't realize was that you weren't powerless. You were watchful. You were steady. You were letting time do the work that words could never accomplish. And while they thought they were getting away with their schemes, God was allowing them to set the stage for their own undoing. The more they acted, the clearer their motives became. Every move they made stacked evidence against themselves. Without you lifting a finger, they built the case, and when the moment came for the truth to break through, it was undeniable. No excuse could erase what they had done. No spin could rewrite what was already seen. Your silence became their spotlight, shining directly on their choices, exposing every hidden motive they thought would remain in the dark. You didn't have to argue, prove, or defend. Their actions proved everything on their own. And when God finally pulled back the curtain, the truth came out so clearly that no one could deny it. What they thought was them taking advantage was really them walking straight into the trap of your stillness. Number 5. God turns their manipulation into a megaphone. When people try to twist your story, when they paint you as the villain in a narrative they've created, they often forget one thing. The truth doesn't bend to lies. They can try to spin facts, distort details, and convince others to see you through their lens, but the truth is stubborn. It never changes, no matter how hard they push against it. Lies are fragile. They demand constant upkeep. One slip, one forgotten detail, one contradiction, and the entire story begins to crumble. God sees every bit of their manipulation from the start, and He knows exactly when to let their false narrative collapse under its own weight. You don't need to rush to defend yourself, because truth doesn't need protecting. Truth stands strong on its own. Eventually, their stories stop adding up. The cracks show. People notice the inconsistencies. The false image they tried to paint of you no longer matches what others see with their own eyes. One by one, those who believed their lies begin to question everything. And in that moment, the truth rises like a tide. Slow, steady, unstoppable, washing away every fragile sandcastle of deception they built. When the tide is finished, they're left exposed. No more excuses, no more masks. Just the reality they tried so hard to bury, standing tall for everyone to see. And once again, it proves the eternal fact. No matter how hard lies try to disguise it, the truth always wins. Number 6. A celebration that goes beyond reward. But here's the most beautiful part. God doesn't just bring justice by exposing your enemies. He brings blessing by lifting you. And His celebration for you isn't ordinary. It's not just about you getting even or proving a point. It's something far deeper. When God blesses, He blesses in ways that feel tailor-made for your soul, intricately designed to answer your deepest needs, fulfill dreams you may have set aside, and awaken desires you thought had died long ago. God's blessings aren't surface level. They're layered, purposeful, and personal. They don't just restore what was lost. They add more than you ever thought to ask for. They bring peace where there was once chaos, joy where there was sorrow, and strength where there was weakness. When God celebrates you, it's a kind of victory no one can take away, because it's rooted not in revenge, but in divine love and favor. And when that moment comes, it won't just feel like justice. It will feel like destiny. The fulfillment of promises made long ago, now unfolding in ways you couldn't have written for yourself. It's the moment where everything finally comes full circle. A reversal so complete, so unmistakable, that it almost feels unreal. And yet, you know deep in your spirit that this is no coincidence. It's divine design. This isn't about flaunting victory in front of enemies or creating a public spectacle. It's something far deeper. The blessings that arrive in this season don't just replace what was lost. They heal you, they renew you, and they empower you in ways you didn't even realize you needed. Each blessing carries God's unmistakable fingerprint. You feel it in the timing, in the form it takes, and in the peace it brings. No one else could have crafted it this perfectly. It's more than compensation. It's restoration. It's God's way of affirming your worth, refueling your soul, and reminding you that every single struggle and every moment of patience had a purpose. The quiet joy that floods your heart in these moments doesn't need applause or recognition, because you know the source, and knowing it came from God makes it undeniable. Number 7, your story becomes their lesson. When divine justice strikes, it doesn't stop with your personal victory. It sends ripples through everyone watching. Those who stood by silently, those who looked the other way, and even those who quietly supported the people who wronged you can no longer deny what's happened. They are confronted with living proof that every action has a consequence, even the choice to remain silent. Your story becomes a testimony that can't be ignored. It's not revenge, it's revelation. It's God showing the world that justice isn't an idea, it's real, it's precise, and it comes exactly when it's needed. The patience you carried, the battles you endured, the strength you showed. All of it becomes evidence of who truly holds power. This justice isn't just for you, it's a wake-up call to everyone who thought they could get away with similar deceit or who aligned themselves with wrongdoers. Suddenly, your journey becomes a warning, a standard that people measure their choices against. They see the cost of betrayal. They understand the price of complicity. Your story becomes a lesson that echoes far beyond your own circle, setting a precedent that no wrongdoing goes unseen and no injustice is left unanswered. Number 8, exposure that mirrors their own heart. Here's one of the most remarkable things about God's justice. It's never generic. It's not a one-size-fits-all punishment. It's personal, precise, and tailored to the exact wrong that was committed. When God delivers justice, He doesn't just deal with the surface level actions. He peels back the layers and exposes the very heart behind them. It's like the universe holding up a mirror to your enemies, forcing them to face the reflection of their own intentions. As their schemes collapse, the truth about their motives comes into sharp focus. Were they acting out of jealousy? Was it envy, greed, pride, or a hunger for control? Whatever it was, it's laid bare for everyone to see. This exposure doesn't just uncover what they did. It reveals why they did it, and that revelation is often more powerful than the downfall itself. Because in that moment, their carefully curated façades, the images they worked so hard to project, crumble into dust. What's left is the undeniable reality of who they are at their core. Friends, family, colleagues, and even onlookers who were once unsure now have a front-row seat to the truth. They see the cruelty, the envy, and the darkness that was hidden in plain sight. It's sobering, it's undeniable, and it's unforgettable. And for you, it's confirmation that God's justice doesn't just balance the scales. It exposes the hidden heart. This kind of divine exposure is more than justice. It's a revelation. It's a powerful reminder that our actions always reveal who we really are. God's justice isn't some distant theory. It's a living, breathing reality that can be seen, felt, and understood by everyone watching. And in that moment of revelation, your enemies are left with no excuses, no escape. They're not only held accountable for what they've done, they're stripped bare, their true selves laid out for the entire world to witness. Number 9, the power shift they can't escape. When God intervenes, it's never just about exposing wrongdoing. It's about changing the entire order of things. What once looked like unshakable control is suddenly reduced to dust. The people who strutted around with inflated egos, convinced their schemes secured them a permanent seat of power, find the ground beneath them trembling. In an instant, their illusion of control vanishes. This isn't just a setback, it's a seismic shift, a complete reordering of influence and authority. Those who seemed untouchable now stand shaken, their dominance dismantled, their grip on power revealed as nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Everyone around them sees it. The narrative flips. The ones who tried to control your story become trapped in their own. And the beauty of this shift, it's not temporary. It's not here today and gone tomorrow. It sets a new order in place. Their former influence dissolves, replaced by a growing recognition of your strength and resilience. You rise into the space cleared for you, while they're forced to live with the consequences of their own choices. This isn't just about you winning. It's about the world witnessing a divine restructuring that reminds everyone that no one escapes the hand of God when justice arrives. Number 10, watching their cracks under pressure. The downfall of your enemies isn't always swift and sudden. Sometimes it's slow and agonizing. A gradual unraveling that everyone gets to see. God doesn't just pull the rug out from under them in a single move. Instead, he orchestrates a collapse that exposes them piece by piece. It's like watching someone desperately try to hold up a building made of toothpicks and string. No matter how hard they struggle, everyone knows it can't last. And as the cracks spread, the show begins. Outwardly, they force a smile, pretending to be unbothered, but inside they're crumbling. It's tragic in one sense, but almost comical in another. Friends, family, and even former allies lean in to watch, some with pity, some with a strange curiosity, knowing it's only a matter of time before the façade caves in completely. Every misstep adds another chapter to their unraveling. Every attempt to prop up their image only exposes more of the truth they were trying to hide. And slowly, the people who once stood beside them begin to drift away, not wanting to be caught in the fallout. Loyalty fades. Support disappears, and their mask grows thinner with every passing moment. By the time the collapse finally comes, the humiliation isn't quick and forgettable. It stretches out, long enough for everyone to see the full picture. Their carefully built image lies in ruins, their reputation permanently scarred. And while it's sobering to watch someone fall so far, there's a quiet satisfaction in knowing that their deception couldn't hold. In the end, truth always wins, and their downfall becomes the clearest proof of that. They once tried to control the story, shaping every detail to suit their agenda, but now they've become the punchline in a divine joke. Their efforts to manipulate the narrative have backfired, reminding everyone that truth cannot be silenced. No matter how hard someone tries to bury it, the truth always finds a way to rise, shining brighter than any lie that tried to hide it. Number 11. Turning your pain into public honor. Every hardship you endured, every attempt your enemies made to tear you down, is being repurposed by God into something far greater than you ever imagined. Nothing you've gone through has been wasted. Every tear, every disappointment, every betrayal has become part of the foundation of your honor. The very pain they tried to use to destroy you is now being transformed into the platform of your elevation. Each setback is a stepping stone. Each insult becomes a brick in the structure of your victory. Your journey wasn't just a string of unfortunate events. It was the forging of a masterpiece. God was shaping your resilience, molding your strength, and preparing you to rise in a way that would silence every critic. When you emerge from the fire, you don't come back as the same person who went in. You come back stronger, wiser, more determined, and carrying a strength that can't be faked. Your enemies thought they could break you, but every attack only sharpened you. Every attempt to humiliate you became part of the story that magnifies your triumph. What they meant as weapons became the very tools God used to build your honor. And when the world sees you rise, they don't just see victory, they see transformation. They see a journey that proves pain can lead to purpose and trials can turn into triumphs. Your story becomes bigger than you. It becomes a beacon of hope for others who are struggling, showing them that the darkest moments can birth the brightest victories. Your honor is not private, it's public, undeniable, and unforgettable. And the same eyes that once looked down on you will now be forced to look up, acknowledging the power of your resilience and the glory of your transformation. Number 12, God makes their envy visible to all. But God doesn't stop at exposing actions. He goes deeper, pulling back the curtain to reveal the motives that drove them. When divine justice arrives, it shines a spotlight on the envy that has been festering in their hearts. What they tried to keep hidden, what they disguised with charm or false intentions, is suddenly laid bare for everyone to see. This revelation makes it clear their hostility was never truly about you. It wasn't your success, your gifts, or even your victories that caused their bitterness. It was their own insecurity. Their envy was a reflection of the cracks within themselves, the parts of their soul they refused to face. God's justice reveals the truth. Their attacks were born from their inability to confront their own inadequacy. This changes the entire narrative. The spotlight shifts off of you and shines directly on them. What once looked like criticism of you is revealed as envy in its rawest form. Their humiliation comes not just from being caught in wrong actions, but from having their motives fully exposed. People who once believed them or stood beside them can now see clearly the root wasn't your fault. It was their envy, and envy is a poison that always exposes itself in time. The world now witnesses how unchecked jealousy can twist someone's judgment, corrode their integrity, and drag them into hostility. Those who once judged you are left to reckon with the reality that the problem was never you. It was the bitterness inside their own hearts. And when that truth is revealed, there is no mask strong enough to hide it. This unveiling isn't just about your enemies being exposed. It's a lesson for everyone watching. It becomes a living reminder of the danger of letting envy take root in the heart. God's justice works like a magnifying glass. It focuses, intensifies, and applies heat until hidden motives can no longer stay hidden. Suddenly, the cracks in their character are obvious. Friends, colleagues, and even casual onlookers begin to realize that what your enemies projected onto you was never about you at all. It was their own inner battles spilling out. Their envy doesn't define you, it reveals them. They wanted to drag you down, but in trying to do so, they unveiled their true nature. And now the world sees it. It's a stark reminder that envy always exposes more about the one who envies than the one who is envied. In the bigger picture, God's justice is like a master thread in the tapestry of life, weaving triumph and transformation out of every test and every trial. What your enemies thought would break you has only built you. Every humiliation, every false word, and every attempt to diminish you has been turned into fuel for your rise. You don't just stand as someone who survived, you stand as living proof of the strength that comes from faith, patience, and resilience. Your victory is more than retribution. It's a story of discovery, empowerment, and elevation. Out of ashes, you've been remade. Out of pain, you've found purpose. And your triumph doesn't echo quietly, it resounds, inspiring others who are still in their battles. When people see your transformation, they see possibility for their own. You become a beacon, reminding them that struggle can lead to strength, and opposition can give birth to honor. As you step into this new season, remember this: God didn't just write your victory for your sake. He wrote it so others could find the courage to keep going. Your enemies may have tried to tarnish your name, but their envy only amplified your light. What they meant for harm became the spotlight on your purpose. And now, with every step forward, you carry not just your own breakthrough, but hope for countless others still waiting for theirs. This is your moment, a divine celebration of who you are and the unshakable truth that resilience and faith always prevail. If this message has resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to our channel for more words of empowerment, encouragement, and truth to keep your spirit strong on the journey ahead. We are building more than just an audience here. We are creating a community, a space where strength is celebrated, stories are shared, and hope is multiplied. I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your experiences, and your reflections in the comments below. Let's uplift one another and keep proving that light always wins over darkness. And if this message spoke to you, share it with a friend or family member who needs to hear it today. You never know how far one spark of encouragement can spread. Because here, we rise together, and the journey has only just begun.